Greetings from the Aria. I would appreciate it if you could take a time to like and subscribe to our channel before we start today's story. We sincerely appreciate your support. Let's start this journey together. I never would have imagined that I would be telling this story. We met in college, were married when we were young, and built what I consider to be a strong, happy life together. After 32 years of marriage, I felt I knew my wife perfectly. I have dedicated myself to running a chain fitness facility for over 30 years. On the other hand, I assumed that my wife conducted her interior design business expertly from the comfort of our house. When she started planning a girls' vacation to Miami, it was the first sign that anything was wrong. She had never been interested in such outings in all the years we had been together, often dismissing them as frivolous activities. Yet here she was, excitedly organizing a 5-day getaway with ladies I had never even met before. Unease pervaded the atmosphere. I couldn't shake the nagging feeling that something wasn't right, whether it was instinct or just the effect of spending years with someone. Even though I was hesitant to draw any conclusions, I couldn't ignore the instincts that were waking within of me. Due to the demands of my busy schedule, I was unable to find the time to accomplish my own research and decided to hire a private investigator. Even though it cost me $9,000, the insights he provided were priceless. In addition to having an affair, my wife was juggling 3 things at once. Each man was persuaded that he was alone in his convictions, each having been promised that she would leave me after she settled some money matters. The investigator's conclusions were nothing short of disastrous. Even though she didn't attend any yoga courses, her yoga instructor was the first person in her life. Rather, they met 3 times a week at his condo. The second was a purported customer looking for interior design services, but there didn't seem to be any commercial objective at all in their meetings. The third person she had met at a networking event was a real estate agent. As for the vacation to Miami, there were no romantic partners. While telling the yoga teacher that she was in Chicago for a design conference and the customer that she was visiting a sick relative, she planned a romantic getaway with the real estate agent. Her double or maybe triple existence was thoroughly documented by the private investigator, who took pictures, films, and created a detailed timeline. He accompanied her to 18 different events with these men over the course of more than 2 weeks. She was carefully managing her own affairs as I worked through the night to ensure our future. The betrayal was too great. I decided to do something about it. I started my journey by carefully laying out the proof in front of my lawyer's office. The lawyer, a seasoned professional with years of experience, was surprised by the many levels of dishonesty she discovered. He said that he had never seen somebody so accurately handle 3 affairs. I started the divorce procedure right away, carefully recording all of her betrayals in the court filings. While she was in Miami, I began the process of moving my necessities to a furnished apartment I had rented. Other than the divorce papers that were waiting for her on the kitchen table, I kept everything else in the home undisturbed in an effort to restore normalcy when she returned. I made sure to be absent when she got back, and if necessary, I arranged for a process server to deliver the documents. Updates from Miami were often sent by the private investigator. She posted pictures on social media, creating the appearance of a girl's vacation, while carefully removing any images that might reveal her real partner. To maintain the facade, she even shared pictures of meals from purported group get-togethers. Meanwhile, I had been busy protecting our money and preparing for the inevitable fallout. Section 2. The repercussions. She found the divorce papers waiting for her when she returned from Miami. The dates, times, locations, photographs, and receipts were all indisputable proof. Her life developed amid sharp contrasts, a tapestry of brightness and gloom. She repeatedly contacted me, her voicemails alternating between angry accusations and panicked cries. Then came the text messages, first claiming it was just a miscommunication, then blaming me for my overwork, and then admitting everything and accusing me of violating her privacy. I had previously taken precautions to protect myself, but she was unaware of them. I had carefully managed our finances, keeping the resources I had spent years building out of her grasp. I concentrated on ensuring my own future as she managed the challenges of her dual existence. The repercussions were severe and swift. Copies of the divorce petition were sent to her 3 paramours by my lawyer. It turned out that the yoga instructor was married, and a copy was also given to his wife. The real estate agent's license was suspended after his employer found out that he had been using client residences for his secret meetings. The customer was the owner of a nearby company in which his spouse owned half of the company. She had a far smaller capacity for forgiving than I did. Our circle of pals quickly spread the word. Friends painstakingly pieced the chronology back together, revealing the plethora of occasions and get-togethers she had missed while running her affairs. Her interior design firm, which was heavily reliant on recommendations from our country club, collapsed almost immediately. The yoga instructor's wife, who was also the club's membership director, made sure that everyone knew the truth. Her painstakingly constructed cosmos fell apart. As soon as the truth came out, every man she had dated turned on her. The yoga teacher went back to live with his parents again. The formerly well-known real estate agent saw a decline in his job and ended up selling vehicles. His wife later broke off ties with my wife's design company after acquiring the customer. I've moved on. After selling my interest in the fitness facilities, I bought a beach house and set out on an adventure. Meeting people who did not know my history was energizing. I kept the divorce papers as evidence of my path, but I resisted letting that phase define who I was. On the other hand, my ex-wife had difficulties while trying to start again. In a sharp departure from her prior life, she moved to a new city and found work as a sales associate at a furniture company. There are moments when I wonder if she ever thinks about the choices that led to her death. She lost her profession, her marriage, and her reputation as a result of her betrayal. When I look back, I don't regret hiring the private investigator or taking risks. Although the betrayal was painful, it made clear how important it was to follow my gut and protect the results of my hard work. Eventually, the complex web of her dishonesty unraveled, and she was forced to face the consequences of her decisions. A life free of lies, a new beginning, and peace were what I found. When she returned from Miami, she entered a house that had not altered save for one notable detail. The divorce papers and a well-assembled dossier detailing the complexities of her secret life were on the kitchen table. Every trick, every betrayal, every secret meeting was exposed in glaring detail. Photographs, receipts, text messages, and a painstakingly created chronology that exposed her complex triple existence were all unquestionable pieces of evidence. Her reaction was quick and chaotic. She contacted me more than 20 times in an hour, with her voicemails alternating sharply between frantic cries and angry threats. Then came the texts. At first she said it was just a miscommunication. When that strategy didn't work, she started accusing me, saying I was overworked, that I had left her, and that I was the one who had driven her to this point. She finally admitted to everything, but she also claimed that I had violated her privacy by using a private investigator. I had already taken action to protect myself, but she didn't know it. While she lived in Miami, I was busy protecting our money, ensuring she would not have access to the resources I had spent decades building. I knew her well enough to know what she would do, and I wasn't going to let her go with anything more than she was entitled to. Her decisions had rapid and disastrous consequences. Armed with the comprehensive information from the private investigator, my lawyer sent copies of the divorce document to her 3 lovers. It turned out that the yoga instructor was married, and a copy was also given to his wife. The real estate agent's license was suspended after his employer discovered that he had been using client residences for his secret meetings. The client, a local business owner, was at differences with his wife, who owned a sizable portion of the company. In addition to taking his portion, she severed all ties to my wife's interior design business. The word quickly spread among our pals. Friends began piecing together the chronology, confronting the plethora of occasions and get-togethers she had missed while juggling her obligations. Her carefully constructed image as a successful entrepreneur and loving wife was shattered in an instant. Her interior design business, which had previously flourished thanks to recommendations from our country club, also failed. The wife of the yoga instructor, who also served as the club's membership director, made sure that everyone was aware of the reality. Her reputation was destroyed when clients canceled contracts. All three of her loves left her life just as quickly. After his wife claimed all that was theirs during their divorce, the yoga instructor went back to his boyhood home to find comfort with his parents. After a change of direction, the formerly licensed real estate agent ended up selling vehicles. The customer was left with nothing when his wife took over their business. My wife, who had once expertly woven this complex web of dishonesty, was now solely confronted with the harsh truth of her decisions. I've moved on. I sold my interest in the fitness facilities, making a healthy profit, and bought a beach house, a dream of hers that would never come true. I set off on a quest, meeting new people and creating a life free from the burden of her betrayal. It was energizing to meet people who didn't know my background. I was not seen by them as the man whose 32-year-old wife had led a triple life. I occasionally think back on those 32 years and wonder if I decided to ignore the warning signs or if I just ignored them. In that moment, the late-night client meetings, the newly discovered love of yoga, and the mysterious professional networking events had all seemed perfectly normal. On consideration, however, it turned out to be a masterful act of guile. She painstakingly created a complex double life for months, maybe even years, while I stood in the dark, blissfully ignorant, and put my complete faith in her. My friends often ask me whether I regret hiring the private investigator, or if I feel guilty about how much her life fell apart. The response is not in the positive. When I discovered the extent of her betrayal, I realized that she was not the true victim. I had given her my undying faith and my undying love for 32 years. Not only with one affair, but with 3, she had destroyed everything. Thanks to the strong evidence presented, the divorce was finalized quickly. She took far less with her than she had expected. The court was particularly interested in how she used our joint accounts to fund her efforts. Our money had paid for every present, every hotel charge, and every plane ticket to Miami. The verdict in the courts was influenced by her breach of trust with reference to funds. According to the last information I had, she worked as a sales associate at a furniture store and lived in a small apartment in another city. Her reputation and social status have disappeared along with her once thriving interior design firm. Meanwhile, her 3 boyfriends had moved on, each facing the consequences of their decisions. At a small studio 2 states away, a yoga teacher was teaching a class. The real estate agent was struggling financially while attempting to handle the demands of becoming a car dealer. The customer was cut off from the business, which was now flourishing under his wife's expert direction while he was away. Sometimes, as a moving reminder of my path, I find myself going back to the divorce papers that are stashed away in a drawer. They provide as proof that this story, as unbelievable as it may sound, actually happened. After 32 years of joint vows, I never imagined my wife would turn on me in such a manner. But she did. Her carefully constructed facade finally came crashing down, leaving her to face the consequences alone. Now I have found peace inside myself. I have created a new life, freed from the darkness of dishonesty and betrayal. Even though I will always remember the incidents, I have decided not